Hello, everyone. This is Josh Lewis reporting to you live from the internet to tell you that you need to rate, review, and subscribe to this great podcast on whatever app that you're using. So that could be the one you're using right now, the one you're thinking about using, the one you haven't heard of, or maybe even Stitcher. You can choose any of those, and you can rate, review, and subscribe to them. And this isn't because we're egotistical maniacs that just need your affection or else we can't get out of bed every day. No, it's for an algorithm so more creepy kids can hear us. And that way, we form a whole community, an army, and then we take back what is rightfully ours. Have a nice day. You are now listening to Letters from Camp Blood,
a retrospective look at the horror and genre films from the VHS era by two comedians that don't know what they're talking about. Hello, everybody. You're listening to Letters from Camp Blood. I am your host, Rob Hot Sauce Hain, Junior Woodchuck Counselor, if you will. Alongside me, as always, from Salem's Lot Recording Studio,
a man with a brand new movie pass card, his second, and probably a long line of them until they go out of business, Joshua Lewis.
All right, your fucking majesty.
Yeah, $10 a month, man. That's the reason why I picked up a second job.
And joining us today, a very guy we've tried to have on the show several times, and our streams have never been able to cross. Host of the Fast Break Breakfast. It feels weird, Breakfast.
Yeah. It's a really bad title.
Yeah. But
it's palindronomous.
But a very great NBA podcast and lead singer of the How I Became the Bomb musical Dynamo. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon Burr.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Huge fan.
No.
I listen to two podcasts, this one and the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. You are in elite company, brother.
Lord.
That is lofty company.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We're in the basement at number 2.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I also I took me forever to get onto the Stone Cold podcast because I'm a wrestling dork. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did not think he was going to be good at it. He's an amazing interviewer.
He can talk about anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to interview anyone.
I've listened to one episode, and it was him just sitting in a truck, his truck, I presume, and he talks about
stolen.
He was sitting in a stolen truck, and the only thing I remember about it, well, one, I remember being highly entertained whenever I knew I shouldn't be, and two, he kept referencing parts of his body as bigger than hell. And he was like, I'm going to reach over here, and I'm going to grab a beer with my bigger-than-hell hands, and I'm going to open it. And then you'd hear it.
He's like,
it was very accurate.
He's like our current commander-in-chief in that way. He's very concerned with appendage length and girth.
Yes. And that's the reason why one day he's going to lead us to fucking glory.
I believe it. If it's not The Rock, it might as well be Stone Cold.
Oh, I mean, it is like that. That's hack at this point, but I rewatched Idiocracy 2 weeks ago. And when it first came out, everybody was like, it's so true. That's where the world's coming to. And it's like the president in that movie is a porn star / professional wrestler. And now we have a reality star who fucks porn stars.
Idiocracy is scarier than the movie we watched.
Yes. Yeah. And that's actually something else we broke tradition for a little bit today. Went and saw a real movie that's in theaters. For the second time, Josh and guest host Hunter Roberts and David Dial went and saw a big boy movie.
Yeah, truth or dare.
A little different ballparks.
Yeah. Hereditary, a little bit more of a cinematic feature than say whatever the fuck we watched that day.
Well, you see, Hereditary is probably what I like to call a good movie.
Yeah.
The other one, not so much.
Truth or Dare 2 was just someone saw that Aphex Twin music video.
Yeah.
And decided to go ham. That's what happens when you don't follow the rules. You turn into Aphex Twin.
I'm glad you watched it because there's so many people that haven't, and I've tried to explain it to them.
Josh, I see every horror movie.
I know this, and it makes me so happy because there's even ones that I won't watch.
Yeah, I'm there.
And truth
when there was one set of footprints, that's when I was carrying you to the Cineplex to watch the worst horror movie of all time.
Dragging me. There's not. Okay, I'm trying to think of something good in comparison that I can say, because I try to find the good in every movie, even if it's total shit.
I was thinking about like horror movies. They are kind of like strip clubs and pizza. Like when they're always good.
Yeah.
When they're great, they're great, and when they're shitty, they're also great.
Yeah.
Truth or Dare 2 broke all the rules because like there weren't any good kills. I mean, there were more topless
I don't
women
think there was
in
any
Hereditary than there were in Truth or Dare 2.
Well.
If you're going to, there's different kinds of top. The blonde even gets topless. Very.
Yeah.
But it's not a fun topless.
There was not a moment in that movie that I was like, I gotta contain this boner at all.
I don't know.
Truth or Dare, though. Yeah, I mean, there was all. I mean, it didn't even show any boobs, and I was like, man, this is pretty hot.
Well, Truth or Dare, it very much was like for that MTV generation, like the people that watch Scream the series, like just very pretty people doing horrible things and then learning a lesson, maybe.
I don't know if they did. I don't know why. Boy, we just got hijacked by Truth or Dare.
Yeah, we should.
While
have gone
talking
down
about
this
it.
road.
Yeah,
We've got like this prestige format, might get an Oscar nomination movie opportunity or the Get Out of the year, and we're right back into Blumhouse. Blumhouse rules everything around us, boys.
Oh,
Bream. Bream.
Oh, man. But Hereditary, for you folks that aren't familiar, I guess we'll leave like a link to the trailer or something.
Yeah.
In
We'll
the
throw a link to the
description.
trailer up in the
You just have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's creepy as fuck.
Which is cool that means something now instead of like a horse ejaculating.
Yeah.
Which I always thought that's what that sound was for jokes from my uncles.
Really?
Yeah, you guys never heard that one?
No.
Well, come on down to the reservation with me sometimes and get all the horse ejaculating jokes with me.
Okay, I can't wait.
But that's the sound.
Is there like a back pressure in it?
I don't know, man.
No.
I was like, it almost sounds like, is that how you kill a cow?
Nah, okay,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand.
I'm not trying to brag about being worldly or anything, but
Right.
I've seen a horse ejaculate. Like
Wow.
whenever. Well, I mean, there's videos.
Was this in Jackass? Was this in Jackass 3?
Was it in Jackass 3? I've seen it.
I've not seen it. But okay, I'm going to stop you.
I don't remember any sounds other than the horse being pretty
X2,
happy about
X2
it.
probably, right?
Maybe.
Well, here's my thing. It's like I said, I know those videos exist, but I don't seek them out.
Well, I didn't seek them out either. They just kind of popped up whenever, you're just hanging out.
I had a German roommate in college, and
Oh, boy.
that's also when like internet porn became a thing, and I learned some hard lessons.
Yeah.
What is it about the Germans and this very strong pornography they enjoy?
It's very real.
Well, I mean, I can see why they walk around with like scowls on their face all the time. Now, if that's what you have to do to prove to somebody you love them, is take a shit on their neck, chest, and face.
Then I so love the world. I created it in my own image.
But Hereditary was pretty good.
It really was. That's
There we go. We got to it. It's through the cum and the piss and the shit.
That's usually what we wade through, just normally.
Don't get me wrong. We'll bring it back around. But now, like, normally we do VHS, like, 70s, 80s, early 90s type stuff, like, video. But we all three went and saw this movie independently of each other. And, like, it's pretty rare that, like, a movie that, like, a horror movie that has come out in the last decade really fucking gets under my skin and sticks with me. And Heredity sure as fuck did. And I text you right after I got out.
Which was right after I got out.
Yeah.
Because we're on the same cycles.
Yes.
I like it.
Yep. We are. We're all spotted.
And I
Spotting. So.
Blood will flow.
It's like The Shining. So it gets off on the fifth floor.
Yep. There's two little girls, and I'm on my big wheel, and here comes the blood.
Yeah. But now it's like it really struck me, and it was like, we have to do this for the podcast. Like I have to talk to somebody about this.
Well, this is the reason why we started this fucking podcast to begin with, is because some of the best parts about watching a movie is talking afterwards.
Right.
I mean, you can have a good time for an hour and a half, 2-3 hours there, but it's the bullshit that happens after, in case nobody's
I've never
listening.
seen a 3-hour movie that I've had a good time at. Name one like there are great pieces of art that are 3 hours, but nobody nobody walks out of Schindler's List and is like, you know what? Fuck yeah, let's go get some ice cream and shit.
I'm searching and I'm failing.
Me too.
It's
Heavily.
hard.
How long was The Thin Red Line? I like that movie. The remake.
It's long.
It's a pretty long movie.
It's long.
I don't know
Again,
if it's
but
3
it's
hours.
good, but not fun.
Yeah.
the thing.
Oh, I didn't have
No,
a blast
after that
watching.
movie, I'm in a fugue state.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anyone.
Oh, I watched Flags of Our Fathers because I thought it was just a good old-fashioned...
Whoopsie.
Yeah. No, it was not a war movie. It was well, it was, but it was very, very... ugh.
Depressing nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
fest.
Me and my buddy went and saw it, and we came out, and I was like, so you want to go get a beer or something? He's like, I just need to go home. And we both went home by
I don't
ourselves.
think I should associate alcohol with these
Yeah,
feelings.
with drinking our haze.
You can't even watch The Office anymore after that one.
No, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
You know, I never watched The Office to begin with.
I watched the British one. I tried to watch the U.S. one, but I didn't get past the stage where they were just sheerly, reproducing a poor facsimile.
Yeah,
I never got to the good
first
stuff.
like 6-episode season.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, it's not good because again
Yeah.
they're trying to shoehorn Steve Carell into Ricky Gervais and it doesn't work.
And now looking back on Ricky Gervais, you're really like, no, don't do that. Please don't do that.
And I'm not like the biggest like Office guy on the planet, but like if you wade through like the first season's only like 8 episodes or something like that. The second season when they essentially
When
they
it's
ran
like 42 episodes from there on out.
yeah, well no, when they ran out of the British episodes to
Right.
just copy and they had to go be their own thing. It's good. It's not. I mean, it's no Golden Girls, but
No, it's not.
You would think that the fucking American version of The Office is as good as The fucking Wire, as much as I see it just around. Like,
Yeah.
there's trivia nights, there's
Yeah.
clubs, there's, like, fucking all kinds of
There
shit,
are
like
books
secret societies.
of essays about The Office.
Books of essays.
Yes.
what shocks me is still ever present in pop culture as it is. And I just read an article, probably BuzzFeed, but it sounds like it should be bigger than that. But they had polled like what are the
Probably BuzzFeed.
but they had polled like what are the most popular television shows amongst 18 to 25-year-olds. And number 2 or 3 on the list was Friends still, and that's been off the air for north of a decade. Like,
Proof of godlessness.
yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that I'm in a room right now where we can say this, and I don't think you guys will get mad at me. I think Friends sucked. It sucked from the get-go. I don't understand any of it, and I'm not mad at anybody that likes it. You
Friends
can like
is the
whatever you want.
worst show I've seen every episode of.
It's
Jesus,
Brady Bunch.
that's a lot of episodes too.
I'm a serial monogamist.
Ah.
Afraid to be alone.
I get it. I get it. That's yeah. I mean, if I was in another relationship, yeah, sure. That's what I'd probably. You want to watch Friends with me? I'd be like,
Be
you know,
surprised what you watch.
oh yeah. I'd be like, if that's what makes you happy and you're happy, then I'm happy. Then I'll watch
Well, that's
a
an
fucking
impressive
paint
feat
dry on a fucking dead animal.
because that's so many episodes of such like aggressive mediocrity. Like I dated a girl who had she bought the full series on DVD and it came in a fucking Foot Locker. Like it was huge. It was a legit like 40 disc set.
It's
Too much.
It's the closest thing I have to like Catholic self-flagellation is that I've seen all those because I don't like even a single actor
Yeah.
from like usually like The Office or 30 Rock are those kind of like piss poor shows everyone likes. I can point to stuff that I like about
Yeah.
it. Like Steve Carell's awesome. Like there's some cool characters like Bob. I've seen many YouTube clips of Bob California as played by James Spader.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec was awesome, even though I don't really like that show. Friends is nothing.
No.
It's
There's stuff Matthew Perry has done after that I thought was cool.
Oh, you mean like Vicodin?
Yes. Like the time he wrapped a Porsche around the tree. That was awesome.
Friends is nihilism. Like it's something you like put on in the. It's background noise. How I got down this train is I lived with 4 girls, and then the next girl I dated for a while like was also into it, and I just slowly realized that any episode that came out, I'd be like, I have seen this.
Yeah. Well, I describe it as the fucking styrofoam of television because there are so many episodes and its syndication package apparently is so widespread that literally any hour of the day there will be an episode of Friends pecking some amount of space somewhere on the dial and doing absolutely nothing but existing.
If ever your significant other gives you a hard time about how much football you watch or how much this or that you watch, turn to them and sternly say, have you seen every episode of Friends, Designing Women, and Golden Girls? And they will answer yes. And then you'll be like, that is thousands of episodes of television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How dare you, madam?
Countless hours.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with the Brady Bunch. As a
Oh.
kid, I would come home and it would just be on. Like we stole cable, so I'd come home and be like, here's my babysitter. And I'd
Right.
turn on the TV and it would just be Brady Bunch. And I didn't like it. but for some odd reason I stuck with
I
it.
was gonna say, is like if you stole cable, like why
Why
the
did I
Brady
watch
Bunch?
that? I have
You had
no
all those
idea.
options.
It's one of those deals like where you come out the other side and you're like, did I just watch 2 hours worth of the Brady Bunch? And then your answer is yes, and you're like, fuck, I'll never do that again. Tuesday
I
rolls
barely
around.
remember the Brady Bunch. Like the Brady Bunch movie has replaced
Yeah.
the show in my mind for some reason. Like
It's equally. It's the Brady Bunch becomes self-aware, which I usually hate about things. I hate whenever they're in on their own jokes. I was like,
Yeah.
these are my jokes. You can't do this. This ain't fair.
Well, I kind of felt the same way when they made Starsky and Hutch the movie with Ben Stiller and Owen what's his tits.
Wilson?
Yeah, and it's one of those things.
Wow, I forgot Owen. Wow.
But like you can't parody the thing you can't parody something and then still be that thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't make fun of Starsky and Hutch while being Starsky and Hutch.
It's like if the Walking Dead TV show right now realized how much it sucks. And it realized that 4 seasons ago.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden it decided to take a sharp left turn into like Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, you mean Fear the
Yeah.
Walking Dead?
Nailed it.
I'm so fucking glad I jumped off that boat after like 4 seasons.
So I
Yeah.
had to I got hired to host a nerd culture show, and part of the prerequisites.
I remember that. Well, I think we were both up for
Did
it.
you? Well, I got it.
Oh, I did not get it. They
But-
saw my Instagram and all this social media followers, and they never spoke to me again.
So I
So thanks everybody out there.
So they offer it to me, and they're like, "Okay, well, you need to watch every episode of The Walking Dead." And I was like, "Deal breaker.
Yeah.
I'm not watching 6 seasons of The Walking Dead to do this $100 a week garbage show."
Fuck that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that's not worth it to me.
No,
I mean, it's
fuck it.
too painful.
That's less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like just wading through all that
I was
shit.
like, that's thousands of Carl.
Fucking everybody's got a terrible. Anybody that has a good Southern accent gets murdered.
Right.
They instantly go, "Oh, get him out of here." Now bring in somebody from fucking Australia that's
Yeah.
never even heard of the South.
How you messed up an unending zombie show? I just don't know. I guess they didn't mess it up in retrospect. It has cons and is probably a $1 billion industry.
yeah,
yeah.
but
So never mind. Back to Hereditary.
but yeah, like normally we like to ask people about like how their relationship is with like the video store and stuff like that.
Right.
But I guess we should probably talk about like seeing movies in the theater and our past with that in this episode, seeing as we all had to go to a theater.
Yeah.
I love going to the theater so much that I am starting a new podcast, announcing it on your show
You son of a
Oh,
bitch!
Here we go.
with fellow local comedian Sean Parrott. Who you guys know.
who did our theme song?
Right. It'll be called Food Court, and as soon as the NBA draft is over, we'll be debuting it.
Hell yeah!
Have you
I
guys already
cannot
got?
do any more NBA podcasts this year.
Have you guys got any like already pre-filmed?
Yeah,
or pre-taped.
yeah.
I mean,
We've got everything set up except for the actual release, so this is as good time as any. Be called Food Court. It'll be on what channel is this on?
this
is
we
just
don't
TBS?
even have a chat. Yeah,
TBS?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is
Yes.
this on Monster Vision?
This is this is
TNT.
this is what happens when you take away Monster Vision.
I always like when you talk to someone about a podcast, and they're like, "Well, how can I listen to it?" It's like, "Well, how do you listen to any podcast?"
Well, it
just
is like there's
Google
such
it.
and it's not even it's not even like an age thing. I think there is just kind of like a culture thing. People that are into the internet know exactly what a podcast is and where to get
Right.
it and this, that, and the other. And then there are huge swaths of people in their mid-20s to mid-30s that just still have no fucking clue.
I think my dad just thinks it's some illicit drug I'm doing. I gotta go podcast. He's like, "Oh, he's freebasing."
Well, at least he showed up on time for dinner. So
Well, that's kind of
that
how
way.
like when I had to explain to my parents what a podcast was. They're like, it's the internet, but like it's radio, but not really. And like, well, where can I get it? And I'm like you click on this, like I'll send you the exact link.
You, Mom?
Yeah.
You can't.
Kinda. They'd listen to the first episode like 20 times apparently. Like they listened to it a lot because
Right.
I would say, hey, there's a new episode up if you want to listen to it, and they would just go listen to the first one again. And I was like, it's the same one, honey.
But back to your question, I still go to the theater probably 3 times a week. But I know
Wow.
that's really strange.
it is now. You would have told
This
me
was
that.
before Movie Pass.
Yeah, you told me
I've-
that 15 years ago. I've been like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, prices just like hit that 40. Like I would just go and be like, well, I guess I don't have a meal for Monday and Tuesday because I want to go see a movie on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like how, like, it's like my safe place.
Yeah.
And we don't have, back to what you said, the aforementioned video stores anymore.
No.
Which I used to just go to video stores and wander around.
I would go to the fucking Hastings down in Murfreesboro and spend 2 hours in there and not rent anything.
To get on my, back in my day thing, I think the biggest difference between, like, someone who grew up when I grew up and someone who grew up nowadays is, like, as a culture and, like, reference point, is we were, like, the video box people.
Yeah.
So that we had to look at a box, and all video boxes were insane.
Yeah. They were always way more bitching than the movie inside.
And we had to not only we had to take the time to decide what video to watch as a result of that box, like the crazy sleepaway camp box, but then we had to take that thing home and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now I know kids who will, like, spend an hour flipping through all the Netflix things and then watch maybe 30 minutes of it before they switch to something else.
Sir, you're sitting
Maybe
across the
30
table
minutes.
from one of those people that realize what kind of mistake he's made.
Yeah.
And it's taken me like countless hours to decide, okay, I'll watch this. And within 45 minutes, I'm like, this is fucking a bad mistake. So I guess I'll turn it off, and I got 2 more hours to make another decision.
Well,
so
as
I
a
can watch
result,
45 minutes more of this film.
We were also way more tolerant of some serious dreck.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like we would sit through, because you couldn't even really fast forward sometimes. Like,
No,
depending
it's
on how
like
good
you'd spent $3 on it.
Yeah.
You have it for 24 hours. You have to watch it.
And I'm like the psycho who's taping everything too.
Yeah.
So I can't fast forward.
So you're dubbing.
Yeah, I'm dubbing. I've got, like, the biggest expenditure when I was a kid was my double head VCR. So I could have and I had a summer before I went to college. I rented the entire horror section.
Nice.
Which, that is an undertaking. A Hollywood video entire horror section. I had to take it very seriously. I had to treat it like a job. So I'm watching 5 movies today.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was a piece of shit fat kid whose parents obviously were going to let him do this.
Yeah. I had a real similar. I wasn't recording all of them, but, like, the Food City in my neighborhood when I was, like, 14 got a video section, and they were like, you can rent 5 catalog movies, like, not new releases, but you can rent 5 movies for 5 days for $5.
I remember greasing palms to rent more.
Yeah.
And I had another video store called, get this, Gas Video, GASS, Gas. It's actually called Gas TV because it was a TV shop.
Yeah.
It was also a video store.
Talk about thinking on your feet whenever you see that fucking industry going down. You're like, nobody's buying tube TVs anymore.
Yeah.
That's all I can fix.
Well, that was the thing,
Bring in the VHS.
There was, like, a hot minute in, like, the mid to late 90s when, like, every business everywhere also was putting in video rentals.
Yeah.
Just because it was everywhere, and it's easy. You just buy the thing, and people bring it back. And if they don't, fuck it, I'm out $20.
I've
God,
been to these video stores in large cities that people be like, this is the best video store in the world.
Yeah.
And I go in there, I'd be like, this is not as good as Gas TV. Gas TV was run by miserly fools in Rome, Georgia, who don't throw anything out. So they had at least 1 copy of every movie that had come out since VHS that came through their thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and there were huge books, binders, and you could find anything, any of the, like, Rolling Thunder, like the Holy Grail shit that nobody, Cannibal Holocaust, the stuff that you could not find anywhere else. In this weird, bizarre store in Rome, Georgia, I could find it all.
There was a place down in Murfreesboro that you probably used to remember.
Oh,
Video Culture.
Video Culture was a good video store.
Video Culture was an awesome video store because it also had that same thing. Like, they kept a lot of, like,
I worked at Video Culture.
Oh, you magnificent bastard!
It was like a hard job to get.
Yeah, no, I would have taken a Blockbuster job. I wanted to work at a video store so goddamn bad my entire life.
That's all I ever worked at.
There
Video stores and comic stores. That was it. I have no actual job experience.
It was such a dream whenever Blockbuster came to Elizabethton, Tennessee, right outside of my humble beginnings in Hampton, Tennessee. And I was like, should I get a job here? And I was afraid that it would ruin it. Like, I would stop liking movies because I had to be around them all the time. But little did I know.
I love how Josh is from, like, places that sound really highfalutin, and then his Barney Fife voice comes pouring out.
Oh, Hampton? Oh, I don't know how many.
Hampton.
Oh, you mean like the roads? And I'm like, no. No. Far different.
You mean the Hamptons?
No,
man.
no. I mean, there's some people around there named that.
Is that where Hampton, Sydney is?
I don't know what the hell that is.
That was my only college scholarship offer for sports. So
There's
must be a really small school.
no college. There's barely a high school, barely an educational system. I'll say.
Well, there you go.
We did get a new school. We did get a new middle school because the whole county paid for 2 to 3 middle schools all to be crushed into one in my little hometown.
Yeah, just a big trailer park.
Yep, just a big fist fight. That's what it was.
I remember we grew up in parallel cities. Like I'm from Johnson City, you're Elizabethton.
Well,
Mostly
Hampton,
Johnson. Yeah.
And I'm Cleveland, Tennessee. So we've got the Eastern Quadrant.
Yeah, we got like a
We
triangle.
got that shit on lock.
It's like the cheapest place to live in the world that is mostly white people.
Yeah, 3/4.
Yeah.
Wow, that's probably being
How my family
Believe
ended up there. My dad's a veterinarian. He said, I'm gonna open a place in the cheapest place in the United States of America, and looked it up, and that's where it was.
I'm gonna
They
go
nailed
where
it.
there's a lot of cows to work on.
where people mutilate animals so much for fun. There's going to be at least one person that goes.
And now
"Could you
we're
save
back
it?"
to horse ejaculating.
No, yep. That's how you know.
There it
That's
is.
it.
There it is.
It's
But no, like we only had the two. We had the 2 movie theaters in Johnson City, and that was a lot compared to like I think Elizabethton only had 1.
yeah. We had a duplex, Bonnie Kate Theater.
Yeah.
And whenever it had the like everything went over to digital instead of real, like film, they were like, "Count us out." And now it's like a fucking strip mall top place or something.
Yeah.
It's got like a coffee shop or some shit in it. No, it sucks.
But it wasn't until like I moved out here in college that like the idea, because we had the 2 theaters, we had a Carmike and then Reel to Reel, which was like an indie. But it wasn't like art house indie. It just played all the shit that didn't fit into Carmike. Like
Right.
Carmike had 8 screens, so at any given moment, 2 of them are going to be whatever kids movie, 2 of them are going to be whatever action movie, and then you get 4 other movies. And then Reel to Reel would just pick up whatever was left.
Yeah, I saw some amazing movies there.
Yeah.
I saw Fight Club there. Not even seeing the preview. I just thought it was. I was like, yeah, it's
just
a
like
midnight
It was
movie.
a Sonny Chiba movie.
Yeah, I was like, it's a midnight movie, and it's got Brad Pitt in it, and it's going to be a fight or something. So I'll just go watch it. And I was like, God damn, what the fuck? I saw The Matrix there. Not knowing
Meatloaf
what-
has tits.
yeah. Sweet
And
tits.
they're succulent.
I saw The Matrix there. I saw Shaun of the Dead there. I took a girl that I was super into to see Last House on the Left, forgetting that there is a major rape scene.
Riggedy
in it.
rape scene.
Oh,
yeah.
and boy, they did it up in the remake too.
Oh,
I was gonna
Boy,
say, how do
howdy.
you forget that there's a rape scene?
It's
Like,
been so long.
So, what's your memory of I Spit on Your Grave?
Oh yeah, mostly just a naked chick running around.
You missed a crucial part there.
That's like the whole movie.
I need a review from Josh about Irreversible Stat.
Oh, I haven't watched it, and I'm terrified.
Don't
too.
do it.
Yeah, that's
do it.
what everybody's told me. It's like if you have
I
no.
mean, it's definitely a work of art that sticks with you
yeah.
and is designed to stick with you. But it's actually, and Hereditary goes for this a little bit. It's designed to make your kind of innards to churn,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like down to the sound design.
I'll say this about Hereditary, since
What that is
we
that
made
movie, yeah.
Yeah, we might talk about it.
Heredity. Heredity.
Yeah.
Heredity?
No, it's Heredity.
I can't say Hereditary.
No, because that's not the name of the movie.
It's Hereditary.
Oh, is
It is Hereditary. Am I getting it?
I was
Are we
gonna
just
I was
talking
gonna
about-
let Rob do it the whole time, but
I just thought that it was
it's
just.
Hereditary.
I thought it was the same name, just
He's
2
Googling
different
it.
pronunciations.
this is Rob's hill to die on.
I'll fight you both right here.
You've done this to him, Josh, by mispronouncing so many
Okay.
things.
Oh yeah, well, that's a possibility. That's a real good possibility.
I just instantly want to call you out on everything.
I didn't make sense.
Yeah. Sorry.
You should call me out on most things.
Oh yeah, especially if I'm making an ass out of myself, mispronouncing it completely, and recording it. Hereditary is.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I hate art house horror.
Right.
I've hated it. The Shining.
This is close.
The Shining. I liked. I don't know why, because whenever I go back and rewatch it, I like it. Not saying less, but I'm just like, oh, okay, this is good.
The Shining has moments of true horror.
Yeah,
True horror to it.
And
Hereditary does
we've
too.
went toe to toe about stuff that I think is art house, like
Well,
It Follows, which I think is
I
garbage.
think your definition of art house horror is too wide, and like I don't think It Follows is fucking art house horror. It's
close enough.
a slasher with an invisible
I'm
slasher.
trying to figure out why I hate it.
I can see why Josh doesn't want to be talked down to.
Then why do I even leave my house?
Those movies, like It Follows and stuff, like These are people making. I see where you're at. Let me see if I can step it.
Please moderate.
Please correct me.
Okay.
These and Hereditary is in the same room as It Follows. These are people who are making horror movies to become film directors. They're not doing it for a love of the genre. In fact, I would hazard to guess that both of the directors of It Follows and Hereditary, in fact, I know that Ari Aster is already trying to say, I'm not a horror director.
Which, fuck you.
These people aren't people making horror movies for the love of the genre. They're making horror movies because you can get horror movies made.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I can see what you mean. And these are
shows
people who are
sometimes,
going to run screaming from the very genre that makes them, if they are
Yeah.
allowed it.
Well,
and
that's-
like M. Night Shyamalan, they'll probably end up getting forced back into it when they realize that's their skill set.
Yep.
Well,
Shoehorned.
it's Eli Roth is the only guy who like has like made a fucking movie and like said fuck you, I want to be a horror guy,
Right.
and he's not like the greatest fucking filmmaker
Yeah,
on the
it's too
planet.
bad that he's also a talentless
I was
actor.
getting ready to jump up in that and be like, yeah.
But I know what you
trying
mean.
to, yeah. Like I've listened to like podcasts with him and DVD commentaries. Like he very much wants to be the horror guy. It's just unfortunate he sucks.
When I read interviews with Eli Roth, I'm like, yeah, this guy's cool. It's probably a guy I could hang out with. Unfortunately, as a director, he's a guy that I could probably hang out with, and not a visionary artist.
I feel the same way about Zack Snyder. Like whenever he did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which I loved.
Right.
And then I loved so much, I bought the DVD.
You don't like
What-
it more than the original?
No. I like it for different. They could have just called it a different zombie movie, and I would have liked it just
About
as
to
much.
come across this balsa wood coffee table.
Ooh.
This is one of the only
I don't-
coffee tables in the world I can actually flip. I like this.
That's why we bought it.
It's flippable.
These fucking marble coffee tables I keep coming. But yeah, I watched the DVD commentary and everything on that, and it was fun. And he was like, the reason why this is in there is like a shout out to the original and all this stuff. Like he really had something going. And then he just went, you know what? I like superheroes too. So let's go fuck everything up.
Well, he
Or
tried
maybe
to
not
take.
fuck up,
You
but,
can tell that he is a dude who came from the world of directing music videos because that is all he has fucking tried to do and just extend them to 90 minutes.
Right.
And it's like you said, yeah, he tried to take that same sensibility and take it to like action movies, and it just don't work.
There's some cool parts in every one of his movies.
Yeah,
Hereditary is pretty highfalutin.
yeah.
Very.
And I'm curious, like, the influences to me mostly come from like a non-Josh Lewis place. Like it's very Polanski, very like it's extremely Polanski. Like the Polanski
like-
references are overwhelming.
Yeah, I was gonna say like everybody's comparing it to Rosemary's Baby, and when I first heard that, I was like, oh, there's no fucking way that you can do that kind of movie today. And no, it fucking the pacing and the
then
tension
and the
Slow.
naked creepy people,
Yes.
Naked
who
creeps.
just happen to be clothed in Rosemary's Baby, but same vibe. And I even noticed like it's not just the horror movies because like the kid ends up kind of like with the same like broken nose dressing as Jake Gittes from Chinatown. Even like it's his nose is doctored up kind of the exact same way.
Yeah.
But it does have some really good classic horror scares. Like it steals the Exorcist 3 Lady on the Ceiling stuff, which to me, Exorcist 3 probably has the best scares. of any
Exorcist
horror
3
movie.
is such a fucking underrated movie.
Exorcist 3 is in my top 10
Never
horror
watched
movies
it.
of all
I've
time.
never watched Exorcist 3.
It's on Shudder right now.
Yeah, I know.
Exorcist 2, fucking hot garbage.
Yeah.
But
Exorcist 2 is like one of the worst horror movies ever made.
yeah.
So there's a gamut to be run.
I'm going to have to sit down and go through this. I will say this about...
Exorcist 3 has one of your favorite actors playing the Angel
Patrick
of Death,
Swayze?
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing?
Patrick Ewing plays the Angel of Death.
Patrick Sweaty Ass Ewing.
Yes. Master of the 17-footer. And the Atlanta Gold Club stripper.
Ah.
I'll watch it. I was going to say, how does Patrick Ewing...
Listen to this cast. It's George C. Scott,
Okay.
Brad Dourif,
So we got...
Patrick Ewing.
George S. Patton.
Yeah.
We got Patton and Ewing.
Or as I call it, the Devil's Three-Way.
Like a lot of so a lot of times in art house horror, what I consider art house horror, they'll usually bring something in.
Which I'm going to say, I think your idea of art house horror is just horror.
Get out.
that-
Art House Horror. Get out. Art House Horror.
Oh, I haven't watched it because I'm afraid it's art house.
You consider anything that is remotely challenging or difficult to be art house. and
Sometimes, yeah.
It's,
You
it's
guys-
not, like,
Whenever I go to watch a horror movie, I don't go for the fucking schematics and
You
all
guys
this
can-
shit happening. I go to watch a goddamn scary movie.
You guys cannot pass go. Cannot record another podcast until you make Lewis watch Get Out. Because that's going to be the best podcast ever.
Do you want to do a Get Out one?
You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
let's
We'll
fucking
a
do
Get
it.
Out one, okay.
Because here's the thing, like, if you can see it at the mall, like if there is an Orange Julius within 100 yards, it's not a fucking art house film.
It's close enough.
No, it's just...
I know what Lewis is saying. There's a feel to it.
Yeah, it's a feel. They try to make what they do is they put something under the genre of horror, and then they just make a fucking slow drama that has like a cat that jumps out of a cabinet or something.
Lewis
and I'm
is
fucking
here
pissed.
to be exploited. He's not here to be talked down to. It
yes,
comes down to
I am.
intent. It comes down to intent.
And it's not like I love exploitation movies too. Like I was the one who suggested we watch Street Trash.
Yeah, it was
I was
fun.
the guy who brought Uncle Sam to the table.
Lewis wants to be exploited. You're there, but you can't take him to the. Don't you know?
Okay, let's. I'll give you an example of something besides the movie Mother, which sailed that down the river with all the other turds. It was
Now the
not-
mother is an offender in that's not even a horror film.
I know,
Yeah,
but
that
That
they
was a
advertised
marketing.
it.
Yes.
That was a marketing ploy.
And that's another thing that gets me, but that's for another story, or here in a minute whenever I describe this.
Get Out and Hereditary are horror
horror
films.
movies, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stuff that like there was a time in like the mid 2000s where horror was not cool. Like you couldn't call something a horror, even if it was a horror movie. You couldn't call it a horror movie. You had to call it a fucking suspense,
Psychological thriller.
supernatural thriller. Fuck you. There's a ghost in it. You dumb piece of shit. It's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a scary movie. God damn. I don't know.
And now we're going the exact opposite route. Like there's Mother. What was the guy who directed? God damn it!
Need more from you here, hot sauce.
I know. I drank a lot during most of my life.
Give us some hints. We'll bail you
Willem
out.
Dafoe fucks a woman under a tree.
Oh, I know exactly. You're talking about Antichrist.
Antichrist, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that directed that is doing his next film is about a serial killer.
Right.
And they are pushing it hardcore on like the horror websites and this, that, and the other. And then
This
I
is
watched
Lars von Trier you're talking
There
about.
we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Some fucking Euro people. Like,
Yeah,
this very much is art house horror.
He stopped the podcast to look up Hereditary, but he wouldn't pull out his phone to find Lars von Trier.
But his next movie, like they're pushing it like it's a horror movie, and I was like, they pushed Antichrist like a horror movie, and I was like, it's not really a horror movie; it's just fucked up.
That's how they got me to pass out 3 times during it.
It's very. I mean, they're the most marketable, and people are desperate to see things that they want to see and don't want to see at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why horror it's my favorite genre. I'll always love it, but I'll always also be. I'm. What's funny is I'm the easiest person to scare. Like I'm scared. I get scared horribly during the movies, but I love it.
Yeah, that's what you go for. You want that little adrenaline rush.
Absolutely. I don't know how many times, like, I would say the first Conjuring.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to talk about this too.
Okay, so the first Conjuring movie, to me, was nothing more than a remake of, we're all having brain farts today, and I've pretty much quit drinking.
Amityville Horror.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm
It
in,
was
I'm in
pretty-
y'all's minds today.
Yeah. And so it's pretty much just the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
But there was times while I was sitting in a dark theater on a sunny afternoon,
Right.
and, there was maybe 20, 30 people there with me, that I was like, okay, I'm getting a little panicky,
Yeah.
because I know scary stuff's going to happen. And I'm like,
Conjuring's a well-made movie.
it's a well-made movie. Would I consider it a really stalwart, good horror movie? Not really.
Okay, this brings me to my thesis on Hereditary.
Go
So
on.
for the past 10 years, we've been getting stuff like The Conjuring and Get Out that are these transcendent horror movies that's supposed to bring the genre back. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
new
Lights Out,
classics.
all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
The highest praise I will give Hereditary is, to me, this is the closest thing we have to a new classic horror movie.
I'll
Absolutely.
give it that. Yeah.
And I think it's mostly because while it does ape some of the scares of films from a bygone era,
Which
it
all
gave
movies
me,
do, to a
and that's
certain
fine.
extent.
It gave me some new stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's like eventual like premise. It's very premise because to me, Hereditary does two things. It shows you things that are normal within a family that are horrific. Like to me, the way they shoot the arguments and stuff are just
Yeah.
as stomach churning
I-
as their scares.
I was just gonna say is like that was kind of a big part of the horror. Like there were 2 scenes, that dinner scene, and
Yeah.
then there's another scene where they're arguing.
Dinner
where
scene, nothing happens out of the ordinary.
nothing horrific happens, but it's such an emotional thing.
And
it
we've
hit
all
me-
been there.
Yes, I was gonna say, and it hit me in the feel spot. Like it reminded me so much of things that
like
happened in my life that I thought I was going to have to leave the theater.
It's like a
and
very
get my shit together.
ordinary people,
Yeah.
ice storm, like one of the scariest movies I've ever
The
seen.
Ice Storm. Yeah, that's a good one to compare this to. Yeah.
One of the scariest movies I've ever seen is a movie called Fanny and Alexander. It's not a horror movie. It's an Ingmar Bergman film, but it's just this family so dysfunctional and so miserable that just flashes of it enter into your own how you think of your own family, and you almost die.
Yeah, it's like a fucking lightning rod just hits like how you feel about your parents or your
And the highest
situation.
praise I can give Hereditary also is what I just watched for the second time this morning. And I will admit I got a little bored during it. In fact, I even did this thing that I'll do when I get bored in movies. I pretended to be horrified, screamed, and ran out.
So you could go check your phone.
Yeah, to use the restroom, stuff like that, and try to make something memorable for my fellow moviegoer. And I did one as like an old white hillbilly, and then as an equal opportunist, I did one as a crazy black lady. So I did like the oh, and ran out to go get some popcorn, and then I did like the oh hell no when I had to pee.
That's nice. I like you a little add a theatrical element to
There's
it.
some fun there.
Help some people out.
You know, when you go to the movies 3 to 5 times a week by yourself, you find little ways to have fun.
You got to make it. You make it fun for yourself.
When did you get bored with the film? Because I know when I got bored with the film, and I thought they were losing me, and I was struggling for just it wasn't a very long time, but I struggled a little bit.
This really wasn't the movie's fault. I did find some faults with the movie. It's a little long. I think some of the you could probably trim a little. I have a feeling that this movie's original cut was frighteningly long.
I bet when the director's cut comes out, and you know it will, it'll be like a fucking 3.5 hour movie.
Yeah, I really feel like it. You know, but back to what we were saying, like there's just two different types of horror going on, which to me is, and that's why Get Out. Like, I'm not gonna say Get Out isn't like a new classic because I really liked Get Out. I just kind of didn't feel it as much as other people, but the socio-political element of it is real and very interesting. Yeah, it just Get Out. I was never frightened. Not like for a second.
No, because I mean it is very fantastical in the threat of the movie is not something you can easily identify with.
I'm also a white guy.
This is true.
So maybe I should be more afraid, and I just have no empathy.
Well, again, I am also a card-carrying honky, and even if I was in that position, like I understand there's many parts of the African-American experience I will never understand, but I don't think there's a lot of dudes out there that think the guy from the West Wing is going to sell my body to somebody else.
Yeah, but I do like what I appreciate about Get Out is that it made me have to think about how every little interaction for a black person
is way different.
Is so much more torturous and weighted.
Yeah.
And Hereditary, what I liked about it is there were moments in the film where I started thinking about, good Lord, what am I going to do when I lose this loved one or that loved one? And the real like nightmarish shit about that.
What it made me think of more was like mental illness. So she goes to that.
This is interesting too.
What was it? The grief
Support
counseling.
group.
Like support group. And she's in there and she goes, well, this part of my family was kind of nuts. So this part of my family did some fucking kooky shit and all this. And it does. And hopefully people have watched this movie by the time they listen to this podcast, because I'm going to give some of it away. It made me, like, during the middle, it started making me feel like, okay, a lot of this shit's in this lady's head. Yeah. She's the only one seeing bad stuff.
Check it out, though. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. Right. It's like they gave me a little bit of a red herring to make me look left while they hit me in the face in the fucking right.
That was the first time that I was like, I might have to step out and fucking collect myself, was during that scene, because, like, it very much, it was such a, Toni Collette fucking nailed the idea of a woman who's dealt with, like, mental health and what have you, and it probably losing her grip, or at least she doesn't have as good a grip on her own mental health as she thinks she does.
You're probably not
she's trying to keep it together.
You're probably not going to see a more well-acted movie this year.
No.
It would be extremely difficult.
The kids were really good. I can't remember her name. I think it's Dowd.
Ann Dowd.
Ann Dowd is really good.
Is that the Kathy Bates looking chick?
Yeah. Gabriel Byrne is, the
Gabriel Byrne again,
the master of none.
The dad who is trying to be supportive, but also just trying to, I got kids. I'm just trying to live my fucking life.
Going back to the mental health thing, I think it's interesting. I've had all these people like going back to BuzzFeed articles about this is really a movie about mental health. What's funny is it's a movie where all these mental health disorders are revealed to be witchcraft.
Exactly.
Yeah. If nothing
and they're
else,
not real.
It's one of those things. It's
and you know what is real? demon gods, kings of hell.
It is literally anybody who's like fucking had any mental health, even a thought of it. It is your worst nightmare come true. That wait, I'm not just a little crazy. Turns out there is fucking Satan inside me.
Right, yeah, it turns out if I do throw a book in here, it'll catch my loved ones on fire. Oh my god. Because I thought that I thought a lot of weird shit was going on in her head, and only in her head because she. And it made it feel that way. It almost had a Fight Club feel to it. Yeah. So she pulls up to go to the grief council meeting, and then she goes, "Nah, I can't do it tonight." And then all of a sudden, right at the window, here appears the Kathy Bates-looking lady. It's like, "Hey, I've watched you, and I know all this stuff about you."
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, that's weird. Here's my number. Call me whenever you can."
Right.
Which is also one of those things that feels like she's just conjuring up. Here, come over to my apartment.
How lame a movie would it have been if that had been the actual ending?
That's what I was starting to feel like. Honestly, that's what I was, and I think it got me nervous and it got me bored right in the middle of it. And the middle's boring.
Well, like it is boring. The whole movie, it feels like a very tense family drama, but it's not really a horror movie for me until that fucking glass moves for the first time.
Right.
Like, it reminds me structurally a lot of The Witch in that, like, it plays with the idea of, are these people just going nuts?
I mean, it's a good slow burner. That first time the grandmother, she sees the apparition.
Yeah.
Oh, and
that's fucking terrifying.
Dude, that was fucking...
I jumped just a little bit, but I wanted to jump a lot more.
You know a movie's doing well when it can turn, the horse ejaculation sound into something really terrifying.
Yep.
And I had a friend who says they overused it. I think in the hands of most filmmakers, they would have used it a dozen more times.
Yeah, they used that maybe 4 times.
Yeah, I think they used it more than that. But the fact
I
that
felt
4. I mean, that's really good.
And let's just talk about the character of Charlie. And number one, she was a huge part of the trailer.
Yeah.
And the trailer for this movie is for a whole other fucking movie.
That was an executive decision. Kill Steven Seagal in the first 10 minutes level bait.
Yes.
Which I full standing ovation.
No. Like, if you watch the trailer, you think this is just going to be the next Omen.
Yeah.
Not Rosemary's
Her topless
Baby.
scene came really early in the movie.
Okay.
So I only have one joke. I'm just going to run it into the ground.
No.
Did you think Toni Collette was going to go topless? Because I didn't think so either, and she sure did.
Yeah,
her tits were everywhere.
There was some
I'm
fucking
sorry.
meaty tits out there.
All right.
There's some good cock in this movie, too.
Yeah, that's...
I just like seeing a cock that mine is even, like, somewhat analogous to.
Yeah.
Like, the Michael Fassbenders are ruining it for everybody.
Finally, we get some representation.
Yeah. Like, when Fassbender's, throwing around that hog leg in every other movie he's in,
they
that's
fluff
unfair.
that up, or they fucking animatronic
I should hope
that.
so.
I mean, that's like boogie nuts or something. We all know it's probably
it's
thick.
not fair when his soft penis is like 6 times larger than any penis I've seen in real life. So what is happening?
Well, how many penises have you seen?
Enough.
I mean, you don't have to count your own if you don't want to.
In the restroom? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to count my own.
penis.
And I don't.
But okay, how we decided to do this podcast came from a text message that I sent like 2 days after the movie to
Which
Josh.
movie?
Hereditary.
Oh, okay,
Hereditary.
gotcha. Heredity. Gotcha.
Yes,
I just wanted to hear you say
Horseman. Yeah. So Charlie,
Right.
kind of an annoying character, but like is built to be that way, to like be kind of the an object, what have you. But and hear me out on
Oh
this.
God, I'm scared, Josh. Josh is backed away from the microphone and is adjusting his pants.
And I went down the Wikipedia hole, so now I now understand what happened. But did they find just like a homely looking girl
no.
and ugly her up a little more?
Wait, there's more. You gotta let him play it out.
Oh dear God.
Or did they find a homely looking boy and then soften his face a little bit, but then put these oddly large, but like they shouldn't be there, weird tits on him?
The tits were weird, whichever scenario.
They were just strange. Like, it's supposed to be a 13-year-old girl, and I don't mean this in a salacious way. Like, they are
It's
just
the hormones in the food, Rob.
whatever, man. And like they do it's a very realistic representation of it because they are doing everything that a teenage tomboy would do to try to hide her tits.
You guys are editing a lot of this out, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Rarely
not.
ever do that.
Like, it's just like her weird tits were a fucking choice by the filmmaker.
I think it's a Punky Brewster thing, man. Where this is Salil Moon Frye
blossoming
before the breast reduction.
I'm not
surgery.
saying like they should tape them down or something.
Oh,
like
yes,
that.
you are.
I'm just saying putting them there was a fucking choice and an odd one in my opinion.
I didn't notice it until you brought
I
it
had
up.
the same
I don't
conversation.
know how to respond.
And it's been in
No,
my
I
mind
had the
ever
same
since.
conversation last night with friend of the show, Carter Glasscock, and he's with me on it. They felt out of place. They didn't seem like they needed to be there.
Carter's also a pervert. Oh man.
See,
But yeah, I was like, I couldn't decide like if it was because obviously she's an interesting looking gal. So like
I know she's a Broadway star.
yeah, that's what I looked at. She played
Really?
Matilda on Broadway.
Yeah.
This was her first movie.
She's really good.
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Like she's really good. I don't know what illness she's portraying.
well, in the
But
movie,
she's obviously, like disturbed.
Yeah.
And we find out later that that's not, in fact, an illness, but more witchcraft.
well, in the movie, she's in her school class, which appears to be other people with illnesses,
Yeah,
like
she's
maybe
in
Down
a-
syndrome.
she's
That's
in
what
a-
I think they were trying to
Yeah.
go for. But they
But they
never
failed miserably at it.
Yeah, they never really came out and clearly said it. I
Yeah,
guess just to
which
make you
I think is like a strength. Like I like.
Yeah, I liked it too, but it
That's
also
a-
made me
you
just
know.
feel bad because I was like, okay,
Because
they're gonna mention it.
everyone is, whether they want to admit it or not, there's a level of comfort that most people haven't achieved with,
Yeah.
people who are different than them.
Yeah.
So I think using that is I thought there were a lot of neat choices in this movie. Because I felt like there was a real blood relatives are more blood is more important than anything because
Yeah.
you feel that woman's sense of loss for her mother and child, but there was a gulf between her and Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah.
Her husband.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Who her husband was way more attentive and loving
Right.
than any of the people that she's like losing her shit over.
right, but also very clinical
Yeah.
as well too,
Yeah.
and was even a doctor in the But it was an interesting movie. In horror film director movies are basically like therapy sessions, like stuff laid bare. Like this Ari Aster guy, we got to see some of his issues.
I would like to meet his mom
He either has family issues or
or tits
really,
issues.
really loves Wicker Man. Just loves Wicker Man so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's the movie, huh?
Hey!
Boy.
No, yeah, it was like I said, it fucking that I could when I left the theater after seeing Toni Collette go full demon and cut her head off and all this fantastical stuff. Like I was still more rocked by like you said, the realistic interpretation of how families operate in dysfunction.
They did some really good because the way it was shot was really awesome.
Yeah.
The use of natural lighting was really nice. Of course, it may not have been natural lighting. It could have been just the way they set up everything. The long cuts that they would do, and then it would have the handheld cameras follow people around and stuff.
It's like a subdued Sam Raimi at times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I even kind of liked when they used the reflection to represent the demon moving around and whatever,
Yeah.
because you could easily have, as I call it, poochied that up. You could have made
Right.
that be some terrible CGI shot.
Now, I think there was a lot of practical effects. I mean, I'm sure they used CGI to make it look awesome.
Yeah.
But you could tell that the root of a lot of the effects were practical.
Yeah, and this type of movie, you don't need to use you don't need fucking.
And this wasn't like Get Out. This wasn't a low budget movie. It's
No,
probably
money was
40
spent.
million. So I mean, the thing with the miniatures that cost. The art direction was very good on this movie.
Yeah.
It was.
And I'm trying to find the one thing that I can't understand is I can't find the symbolism in the miniatures.
Oh,
I don't. That's just flying right above my head. Other than I do like that scene where she's recreating the accident, and
Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne's like, "What in Christ's name?"
Well,
are you
she's
doing?"
trying to control and understand her environment,
Yeah,
which she says that very clearly in the scene. The back to the grief counseling scene where she's being blamed for something she doesn't know why.
yeah,
It's a well-written movie. The most amazing part of it, because I think you can pick this movie apart a little bit, because there's one scene that's really horrendous and almost invalidates the movie where she right before Gabriel Byrne bites it, she tries to basically woman-splain what's going on to him.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary. And I'm glad it was cut down because I do think there was probably a bunch of stuff that was unnecessary. But this is this guy's first movie.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's fucking
Yeah.
great. Does he have background like doing commercials or
This guy
documentaries?
he's done some shorts and then he's done some Funny or Die videos. I mean, this guy has a
No,
big future ahead of him.
It's weird. Like we've talked about on the show, there is a connection between comedy and horror, and when usually a filmmaker is good at one, he will be good at the other.
This movie is hilarious too.
Yeah, because
This movie is really funny.
They work on the same emotional engine, in that
Right.
it's like set it up, pull it off, set it up, pull it off.
Right.
And
And tragedy is a huge element. Instead of tragedy plus time equals comedy, it's like tragedy plus like
plus immediacy.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's totally different yet the same.
Yeah, it's like Ivan Reitman could fucking. I
Right.
think if he wanted to do like just a straight up horror movie again,
Yeah,
he could.
Yeah, as long as it's not Jason Reitman, I'm fine with it.
No, no.
Although Juno's kind of like a horror movie for me.
You're keeping it.
I'm running streaming from the theater and the scenario.
Yeah. So yeah, do we want to play Fuck, Marry, Machete?
No.
Okay, good.
I do not want to play Fuck, Marry,
Because like there's
Machete
the
in this
cast is
film.
too small.
I just say Gabriel Byrne all 3 times.
I bet he's a very tender lover.
There also were some fantastic, just regular looking naked people that I feel like I
Yeah.
could have been with forever.
I think that was kind of like jarring about it is like the
Also, after
realist-
Rob's earlier rant, I'm pretty sure we know where he stands on that poor lead actress.
I was so fucking glad she died.
Oh, no.
I was so happy when her head popped off.
That's a really awesome scene.
That was an awesome scene that also didn't make sense at first to me at all, and it still kind of doesn't.
Well, the second viewing, you get to see, like, there's a shot where they drive past that pole and
Yeah,
stop.
and
you
that's
see I saw that in the first one.
It's a really good go back and watch it again.
I was gonna
movie.
say I want to go see it again in the theater because like there are so many, like they did so.
Well,
the
Rob,
writing-
I go see films on, let's see, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you
Okay,
ever want to
so
join me.
I'll see what I can do.
That's my schedule.
But like they were so good, like apparently with threading the whole witchcraft Satan, like everything is set up before it happens,
It's
and you like everything is foreshadowed.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the times when they try to explain it is the only time where the movie fails.
Yeah.
They really didn't need to explain it.
You notice there was something in the trailer, and you may not be able to find this trailer anymore because of it. The Kathy Bates looking lady,
And out.
Yeah.
comes over to the main mom, which I'll never remember all these actors' names.
Jenny
This
Collette.
is just me.
Yeah.
And
Trust
she-
me, if there was more than like 3 people in this movie, I'd forget it.
Yeah, and so she comes over to her in the trailer and
Right.
says, "I knew your mom."
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and that made me think. I was like, "When's that going to happen in the trailer?" Because that's obviously, or excuse me, in the movie, because that's obviously in the trailer, and it never happened.
Yeah.
And it enriched the movie so much more to give it a little bit more element of surprise.
That was
Yeah,
the cow from Twister.
I kind of wish that I kind of wish that wasn't in the trailer because that was a bit of a giveaway that there was some conspiratorial.
absolutely, absolutely.
Again, thankfully, the trailers that got cut for this thing had very little to do with the actual movie, so I don't think a lot of people going into it were all that shocked, even if that scene didn't end up in the movie.
I just realized what this movie is. This movie is the trailer to Mother that Josh thought he was going to see.
Absolutely, it is.
So luckily you got to see this movie.
Finally got to see Mother. I finally got to see that goddamn movie I was wanting to see for a fucking year. Over a year. What a piece of shit that movie was.
I liked Mother, but it was a complete bait and switch. It was a trickery.
Maybe if I knew what I was getting into, I'd have liked it.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes, like you said, like horror movies are movies that you could A, get made, and B, eventually will get released and make their money back if you can keep
Right.
the budget relatively low enough. So to a certain extent with Mother, I think, and some other stuff, like the film industry loves horror fans, but at the same time thinks we're incredibly dumb and it exploits us in a not awesome way. Like I said, they'll bait and switch. They'll sell us on a movie that is never going to get made
Right.
just because they need our $11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it pisses me
By the way, you need
off.
to get a movie pass.
You know what? I've been thinking about it. I've been.
I mean, Christ almighty, you have a podcast. You can write it off, Rob. You can write all this stuff off.
I don't pay taxes.
Oh,
And we
nice.
also don't. We also
I dig
don't.
your style.
That's a lot.
And we also don't make money.
Okay, there you have it.
If you guys want to send us money,
No, I just never. You know what? I had the movie pass like 2 years ago when it was like still like $50 a month.
Man, MoviePass has gotten so insane. Reading articles about, I see articles about MoviePass that I think are Onion articles.
Yeah.
Their latest move is they just invested in the
in the
worst
Gotti
movie of
movie.
all time.
Yeah.
In the John Travolta Gotti movie, which is directed by one of the goofs from Entourage, Turtle or E or something. And it's the worst movie ever. And of course, MoviePass is invested in it. I cherish my MoviePass because it's gonna disintegrate
die,
in my hands.
oh yeah, there's one day I'm going to go up there and it's going to be like the end of the Avengers.
That's gonna be a dark day. Yeah. Mr. Stark, I'm scared.
It's like they're just grasping at like trying to find a business model that works.
Yeah.
And it's, man, the $30 a month thing sort of seemed like they could operate like Planet Fitness operates in that you pay a little more, like everybody pays a
You
little less.
subtweet me again
Yeah.
to my face, and I'll kill you.
Sorry.
Yeah, you get the membership and never go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh God.
Because that's how Netflix survived for forever. It's like, oh, it's only $10 a month.
Yeah.
But everybody had that same copy of Spider-Man 2 sitting on their DVD player for 7 months.
Yeah, right.
That you just kept paying $10 for. So
Well, I love you, MoviePass.
I do too.
you will be missed.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, by the time you hear this, MoviePass is either somehow jolted up to rule the world, or they'll be like,
Maybe they'll change it so MoviePass. It's me going to see the movie, and I just drive people around on my way to see it.
also like
it's
Uber buys
ride
out
sharing,
MoviePass.
but it's just you got to get in my car on the way to Opry Mills Mall.
Yeah.
That's the only.
I drive
place that-
people to Opry Mills. That'll
You drive people to the mall, and then you explain the movie to them on the way.
Yeah.
and then you drive them back home.
I try to psychoanalyze them like I did Lewis on this one. I'm glad that I was able to work through all of Lewis's hang-ups. on
Yeah.
this.
That's frankly, we're going to have.
And our hour is up, Josh.
Ding.
That'll be $125.
Wonder why I did the podcast laying down on this leather sofa.
Yeah.
Entire time. So weird.
Anytime you need me. I'm at Opry Mills Mall at the Regal Cineplex.
Could I have one of those guys come over and rub my shoulders?
I was like, those always felt weird. Like, I have a weird relationship with people touching me. I don't like getting my hair cut, and I don't like, I can get a massage, but I can't do it like in the middle of the fucking mall.
Yeah, I don't want everybody to see me over there almost getting a boner while a man rubs my shoulders.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
That's a different kind of massage from those guys, man. They whoop your ass.
I'll get
Really?
up in there, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because I need.
They're
one.
unlocking some chakras.
Yeah, my shit's all fucking knotted up.
Go get some, man.
I just don't want to go over there and do it.
Oh, you don't want to put your face on that weird thing that looks like a hemorrhoid donut?
Yeah, the pink
Yeah.
eye machine over there.
Yeah.
No, I would rather not.
Or worse than that, like, there have been times like, okay, well, I'll go get a massage at like a regular massage place and what have you. But I'm terrified I'm going to go in there and find out like it's the happy ending massage place.
Yeah.
And I understand
Terrified.
the worst thing that's ever going to happen to me is me getting a hand job, but I don't want to like patronize that kind of thing. And also, I'm not.
If you get a hand job in the middle of the mall,
Frowned on
in one of those
frowned
kiosks, wow.
But no, like,
it's not
you know,
trafficking. It's not human trafficking at that
Well,
point.
that's
Sell
what I
you
think
a
is-
Roku TV and jerk you off. Amazing.
Well, the thing
Take
is,
it
like,
back. I need a massage.
look, if I get uncomfortable while somebody is cutting my hair and just like kind of like rubbing my shoulders, there's no way I fucking can.
This is
Pay
too much
somebody
mall
to
talk. You're getting into my podcast. territory. Food Court is the mall and movie podcast.
Yeah.
Two things people don't do anymore, being talked about by two misanthropes and our friends.
Which brings us to where can we find you on the internet webs, or what do you have to
Well,
plug?
check out
Where-
Food Court in the coming weeks, and then fastbreakbreakfast.com and howibecamethebomb.com.
Okay, fucking. You said you guys have a record coming out.
Yeah. This I was hoping fall, but it will probably be winter, just because it takes so long to press things now.
Yeah.
oh,
and
an
new
actual
label,
physical
et
record.
cetera.
Yeah, you're putting
Yeah.
out like a physical
Yeah.
release, which
Yeah.
good for you.
Hey, God, that's the only way to make money. Spotify don't pay the
I was
bills.
just gonna say, you tell me these streams ain't paying the bills.
Oh, good grief. 2% of 2 cents ain't what it used to be.
Well, you can follow the show. We're at Letters from Camp Blood on Instagram, Letters from Camp Blood at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Are you guys on Friendster? MySpace? No?
Soon.
Is MySpace back? Because it tried to come back for a little while.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake tried to bring it back.
Really?
He's bringing MySpace back.
I do remember like
He really was one of the owners.
he bought into it.
Yeah.
And like they put this like an app for MySpace where it just plugged in your Facebook account. So essentially all it became was just Facebook on MySpace.
I think they were just trying to fish our passwords from us.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, as soon as I heard about that shit, I figured out a way. I put in every password I ever had and deleted my MySpace, which I didn't even know still existed.
Mine are still like Cindy Crawford 42069 to everything, so it's pretty easy to get into my shit.
Duly noted.
Pretty easy.
And if you want to send us your
What was
MySpace
what was
password,
y'all's first AOL screen name?
What was mine?
mine was
Come on, Rob, hit me.
Dr. Loomis
Yes!
from Halloween, and then some numbers.
The evil is gone.
Yeah,
The evil is gone.
Then some numbers. I can't remember what they were after that because I was not the first one there.
You know, there's a possibility mine's always been the same. Yeah. Oh, it's probably Bang Pow because that was my video game name until PlayStation 4. That was always my favorite because if I got on any kind of whatever, maybe not chat room, I guess it was a chat room. They would people like late at night would think I was like foreign and would call me Bonjay Pawa and shit like that. And then I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm Bonjay Pawa."
I was Deadite Ash 426.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
I've not matured at all. Good talking to you guys.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. You can find me personally at Rob Haynes on all that horseshit because I did get better about my name.
Yeah,
I'll sign up for every stupid fucking LinkedIn, social, whatever that I'll never use just to squat on the name Rob Haynes. Yeah. Because I lost out on robhaynes.com many years ago to like this guy who was like a Mormon missionary.
I have to be masterjohnburr.com and at masterjohnburr on Twitter because there's some bass player, like classical bass player, who's somehow gotten past me.
I wish there was just one Josh, the Joshua Lewis out there because there's millions, there's bazillions by the time I figured out what anything technology was. And that's the reason why you can find me at the Josh from TN on.
You could be Lost Jewish.
I could be Lost Jewish. Yeah. Maybe I should switch that around.
People like the switcheroony.
They do. They probably. Oh man.
Me and you together, we can conquer all your demons and social media problems.
I feel like you're going to be the organ grinder to my monkey.
I was going to say, I feel like you guys should just like wander the fucking earth righting wrongs together.
Why is Rob here? We don't need Rob. This is our podcast now.
Sorry, buddy.
Fuck you. I do all the tech shit.
He does do all the tech shit.
You'll be able to get this fucking podcast on a cassette tape laying in the fucking garbage.
It's going to take a long time to press because that's how you make the money.
This will be the last fucking podcast produced on 8-track. Fuck off. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Check out Jon Burr, and we will see you next time.
Ta-ta.